Om Shri Sai Ram. We'll be starting with Omkaram and Sai Gayathri. Om. 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 Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarvah Prachodayat. Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarvah Prachodayat. Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarvah Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Sai Ram. Offering my humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Swami, I welcome you all for today's satsang. As we witness each day the leelas of God, we are filled with always with awe, wonder, and humility at the love that exists between God and his devotees. It's pure amrit, or nectar flows, and the seeker and the sought come together. It is true that God exists for the devotees. Bhagwan said in Bhagavad Vahini that he comes only to fulfill the yearning of his loved ones. Each one is incomplete without the other. So God is the magnet that attracts, and the devotee finds itself magically drawn to the pull of the divine love. In this sacred gathering of love, there is no mind, only the heart prevails. The language of heart is experienced by one and all. So all eyes become misty, tears of joy flow, and every time we experience this, so pure is the love of God for his devotees that the devotee forgets everything other than being in the presence of the divine master. It's like the love between Krishna and the Gopikas. The attraction is instant and soon becomes a constant connection. So today let us bask in the bliss, listening to the wonderful stories of our guest, Sri.Ravi Shankar ji. So anyway, I have given the introduction in the poster, but still I would like to repeat it once again for the sake of listeners. So Ravi Shankar ji came into Swami's fold through his family. Especially he had his first darshan in 1968 when his father was granted an interview by Bhagwan. Since then they became very regular and ardent devotees to Swami, attending all the Sai activities in Satya Sai Samvedana in Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh. So it became like a second home for them for the next 3 decades almost. After finishing his graduation in 1978, he secured job in 1983 when Bhagwan blessed that Samithi building. He inaugurated personally in Vijayawada. And he says by Swami's grace, he's married to a girl, of course, not from a Sai family, but eventually, without any hassle, she became a Sai devotee and much more devoted than Sir himself. And he says that Swami that time, immediately when they left for Parthi after their wedding, Swami personally blessed them from his car. Special blessings were given. a kind of acknowledgement. He was a very active Sai youth. He had many personal interactions with Bhagwan. In 1977, he had attended the All India Summer Course for 1 month long, I think 1 month completely at Vrindavan. So where he had personal interaction with Bhagwan then. Afterwards, also through various activities of his Samiti, he could get close proximity of Bhagwan. This is in spite of, as the Swami says, test is my taste. In spite of being a very active Sai youth, he still had to undergo that, a period of hibernation for 7 long years. And it happened in many lives of many devotees. We even heard of Anil Kumar sir. He says that 7 years are very powerful in his life. Same 7 years he also underwent, where at one point of time he was called Jinx, where no one would like to sit next to him because Bhagwan was avoiding every line wherever Anil Kumar used to sit. So he even got the name like Jinx during those 7 years. But he says that 7 years taught him to stay grounded, because later he got so much proximity that probably everyone would envy. He says, but I remember those 7 years, and that 7 years keep me grounded. So there may be, as Swami's way of testing us, way of making us better, as he says, he addresses us or calls us Bangaru. That means he'll make us better. He'll transform us to that level. So in such a way, as I told in my earlier satsang, so everything is his grace, but sometimes the grace is packaged differently. That's it. It may look like pain, but it's a grace. So also there was a kind of hibernation that happened in his life also. So we would actually listen more what happened, what was the cause for that, and what became the turning point. He says 1995 became the turning point when he is back to the radar of Sai. So today let us listen to beautiful stories, wonderful anecdotes from sir. So I welcome sir today for today's satsang. So my first question to you, always, what brought you into Swami's fold? As you told, it is your father's personal interview. During your father's personal interview, you had Bhagwan's first darshan. So definitely it is your family that brought you into Swami's fold. So how did your family get into Swami's fold? Who was the first person to go to Swami? And more your family's interactions, your experiences of your family members, basically, the background of your family, where you hail from. We know that you're Karma Bhumi, or most of the time you were brought up in Vijayawada, but where exactly you hail from? So kindly please tell us more about your family background and experiences related to your family members. Over to Ravi Shankar sir.
Sai Suman, thank you very much for your loving introduction. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sai dear brothers and sisters, first, my loving gratitude and pranams to our dearest Swami, who drew me and all of us here to him, and who has and shall always be our only true companion in this journey of life. I also pray to Swami to talk through me, guide me in this satsang, and also make all of us feel that he is there here with us watching this satsang. Before I go further, bringing my nostalgia in this satsang, with everybody's permission, I would like to sing a few lines of a popular bhajan of those days of 1960s and 1970s. श्री गणेशा शिमुनि कुमारा श्रित जन विनुत प्रभो प्रभो श्रित जन विनुत प्रभो श्री गणेशा शिमुनि कुमारा श्रित जन विनुत प्रभो प्रभो श्रितजन विनुत प्रभो श्री गणनाथ सेवित पाद श्री गणनाथ सेवित पाद श्री गणनाथ सेवित पाद नागति नीवनि नम्मिति सदा नागाभरण ननुदय गणवा श्री गणेश शिवुनि कुमार श्रित जन विनुत प्रभो प्रभो श्रित जन विनुत प्रभो इदरि तल्लुल मुद्दु कुमारा इदरि तल्लुल मुद्दु कुमारा इदरि तल्लुल मुद्दु कुमारा भक्तुडनैति नीवत्त जेत्परा कोद्दि कृपनु नाकु सगी ब्रोवरा श्री गणेश शिवुनि कुमारा श्रित जन विनुत प्रभो प्रभो श्रित जन विनुत प्रभो श्री साई शुनि सेवक जनुलमु श्री साई शुनि सेवक जनुलमु श्री साई शुनि सेवक जनुलमु साई भजनलु చేయుతు మనయము साई भजनलु చేయుతు మనయము జయమిడరావా రయమున దేవా జయమిడరావా రయమున దేవా భక్తుల కావా శ్రీ గణేశ శివుని కుమార శ్రిత జన వినుత ప్రభో प्रभो श्रित जन विनुत प्रभो प्रभो श्रित जन विनुत प्रभो Sai Ram. This was actually, I have cut short a few lines in this long Ganesh bhajan because of the time availability, but nevertheless this was one of the first bhajan songs I used to listen from the days I had the opportunity of going to Puttaparthi. In fact, I think in the 1960s or maybe earlier, this Ganesh bhajan was the first long bhajan which used to be started both in the morning and in the evenings before every bhajan. This was the first bhajan that Swami would make sure that they sang in front of him, and only later the other bhajans would commence. So this was the background, I would say, for my first introduction. I am ever grateful to my parents, Sri Ramurthy Garu and my mother, Srimati Neela, who were the main instruments of Swami to send me to him. It was literally sending me to him because even before I reached my 10th standard, I don't know, for some sort of confidence, they would allow me to go by an express bus from Vijayawada all alone to Puttaparthi, which would take about 16 hours or so each side. And as you all know, in the 60s, even a telephone was a big, a very big, precious thing to possess, a luxury. And there was, once a person has left a place, there is no way to even know whether he has reached the other place or not. It was in this background that I had the opportunity of going to Parthi also alone in the early 70s, I would say. So my first experience of Swami was when my parents took me to Puttaparthi. This was, I think I would have been around 10 years of age at that time. I was born in 1958 in Chennai, but I never knew what Chennai was at that time because immediately they had brought me to Vijayawada, where my father had an automobile business. And my earliest memories were all only from Vijayawada. So, in fact, if you ask me what my memories were before seeing Swami, I don't know something. I have no memories except for one or two, maybe here and there when I was a small boy of about 5, 6 years. Just about a couple of memories, that's all. But all my memories have been strong only after coming to Swami at that small young age of 10 years. So I still remember when we were all seated on the sands out of the present Prashanti Mandir Kulwant Hall. There was no Kulwant Hall at that time, as you all are aware. It was only a lot of sands in front of the building. It was also a very old type of building without any even carvings. It was like uh, all rectangles and squares, square portico and all that stuff. And when we were seated outside, Swami had come to us, and I think he had called my father for an interview. And as was the custom, we got up. I remember those moments very clearly, actually. So we went and sat outside the door where Swami then calls people for the interview. I think the time would have been maybe somewhere around 9:30, 10. Those days, Swami used to come only around 7:38, I think, and even bhajans used to be held very late. So on the ladies' side, my mother also, I think, was asked to come, and all the three of us went inside. And we were, I don't exactly remember how long we were sitting in the interview room, but yeah, Swami called us to him, and in fact, he took us from the interview room to a very, very small place next to the staircase, which would lead to the first floor. There was a curtain uh, next to the staircase, which was a small place where maybe with great difficulty 4 people can fit in. Out of that, I think we were four. I was a small boy, and two my parents and Swami. So you can just imagine it was like literally squeezing that place with Swami. So I remember that place very well. It was a little slightly dark also, but Swami was talking to my father, and he was. Uh, my mother later said that my father used to worry for small things. He told, in fact, my father, Bangaru, చిన్న విషయాలకన్నీ చాలా బాధపడుతూ ఉంటావు అలా చేసుకోవద్దు. And as he was saying this, he was patting my father's neck gently, holding his arms around my father's shoulder and stroking his neck, it seems. This my mother was watching. The other thing I can never forget, my mother making a special reference was actually Swami was shorter than my father. My father was slightly tall. And it seems my mother was surprised because throughout the stay where we were there for about maybe 4 or 5 minutes inside, my father was always looking up at Swami as if Swami was taller than him. This she found it very strange because there was no way that this could happen. For some reason, she thought that was very significant, and it was very special also. So this was one observation. And later on, we came to know that by Swami actually stroking my father's neck, he was relieved of a chronic neck pain. For years together, my father used to have the neck pain, which he had expressed to my mother after marriage and all that. It seems that had vanished after that interview. So that was Swami's love, and knowing everything about each one of us. So this he did, and my very first. I will talk maybe afterwards about the interactions, but I'll just pause here to tell you that during the interview, I don't know, somehow I was just before we were leaving when the three of us, including Swami, when we were with Swami there, just before leaving, all the others had left. In fact, the people who had heard, there were two groups, I think, they had been granted the interview and they had left. and we were the only people there inside. And Swami, I suddenly looked up and at Swami and asked him, Swami, naku mee photo okati istara. Swami just gave a gentle slap on my cheek and said, "Nu peddod ayin tarvata istanle niku." This is all what he said. So after that, Swami just walked back towards the staircase, and I still remember distinctly the sound when he was climbing back on that staircase. It was like thup, 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 like that. When you know the old-fashioned wooden staircases. Uh, I think it was a wooden staircase there. It made that wooden sort of sound that also is etched in my memory very much. Maybe they are sacred sounds also, I would say. And we came out, and this was my first seeing Swami darshan. In fact, I don't remember having a prior darshan of Swami and then going for an interview. I think this was the very first attempt. I just happened to go inside and see him. So this was how it happened. If that was the first part of the question, Suman. Sai Ram.
Thank you, sir. It's so wonderful. I mean, listening to Bhagwan's assurances and that to his inimitable way of curing chronic neck pain. In his way, wonderful. And so, did he give photo finally when you grew up?
Oh yes. Okay. I will now go fast forward to the years of maybe 97, 98 with your permission. If you remember, Suman, you just show that photograph a little later when I request you to.
Sure.
I had sent you a photograph. Remember, a laminated one.
Yeah.
So that is the reference. Shall I talk about it now?
Okay. So yeah, we'll keep it for later. So anyway, you said he has given. So let it be suspense for some time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, Bhagwan always says my relationship with everyone is one-to-one. So kindly let us know more about your interactions, whether it is physical interactions or spiritual interactions, your one-to-one interactions, and more you can talk about. I think your activities in your Samithi. I think because of that also you had close proximity to Bhagwan. So please let us know more about such incidents.
Yes, Saira. So after this first darshan in 68, as I mentioned earlier, my parents used to send me to Parthi frequently. And those days, the only shelter was a old, the first shed which was in the present place of the Subramanya Swami temple near Ganesh Mandir.
Yes.
That, yeah, that was the first place where we used to, spread our sheet and stay there. There were no fans. It was very difficult, obviously, and just general bathrooms and stuff like that. And there was also a Veda Patashala shed, which was adjacent to Ganesh temple, Ganesh statue there, where the present water, drinking water supply is there. There used to be a big shed there where the way that was the place like Patashala, they used to call. And why I'm telling you this is there is also a connection where I'm just reliving the days where Ishwarama Garu also was there. I was fortunate to see Ishwarama Garu also, and my parents, as I said, because they became very regular, and my mother was very actively involved in the Sai Samithi. She was made the secretary of the Samithi also, and she used to come regularly for various seva activities. She had also quite a few interactions with uh, uh, Ishwarama Garu, and Ishwarama Garu's quarters was adjacent. It was the very first small room next to Ganesh Mandir, where the first parking availability is, that just as the slope towards South Prashanti starts down, there were a string of rooms that side, and the very first room was Ishwarama Garu's place. And I believe even my mother asked once that she expressed a desire to admit me to the Veda, Patashala, to take up Vedas as the actual schooling in Veda she wanted, and she took she sought the opinion of Ishwarama Garu, and I believe Ishwarama Garu just rubbished it, in the sense she said, no, let him not come into this this life. Let him pursue normal education and come up, or whatever. She gave her blessings like that. So there were some interactions like this, and after that, I was growing up, and whenever there was one more thing, whenever I used to come to Parthi, those days I had a small click 3 camera. So whenever I used to come to Parthi, I used to bring the small black and white click 3 camera with a roll which would allow to take only 12 photographs. And once I had that camera, the people there in Mandir, the same place where it was sand and all that, wherever Swami was moving, uh, they would allow me to go near and take pictures. This was a great blessing. Just to possess that camera, I was able to go very near Swami, and I had pictured many. And yes, this was one of the pictures I took when we were in the summer course at Vrindavan in 1977. Like that, even prior to this, there were there are a few pictures I had taken. Unfortunately, I'm unable to find them at home when we shifted from Vijayawada. So these were some beautiful opportunities at that point of time. And later, my second interaction was, I would say, in before that, yeah, my second interaction was with Swami was in 1972, 1973, 74, sorry, 1974. That was after I had finished my first year intermediate at Vijayawada. I had come to take Swami's darshan, and I was sitting in the first line there outside. It was again the same old scenario there, sand and all that. And I think a few of the people here, they would have heard this, but for the benefit of others, or to relive those moments, I might be repeating a few things of my experiences. So kindly bear with that. So when Swami had come, I knelt and I asked Swami. This was my second interaction. I asked Swami, me college lo naku seat istara. Swami, will you kindly give me a seat in your college? Swami looked at me and said, Tappakonda. That Tappakonda, the way he said with such force, I can never forget that voice and that strength of the tone. I was very happy that Swami has straight away assured a seat. So after Swami's darshan, when he went back inside, to give the interviews, I got up and asked somebody there as to what would be the procedure, whom to contact if I need to get into the Swami's college. They showed me an elderly person who was in Dhoti. I don't remember his name. He must have been the principal or the warden of the Vrindavan College. At that time, Puttaparthi College or schools, nothing was existing. So only the old college premises was there. Not even the present college buildings you see in Vrindavan, even that was not there at that time. So I went and asked him, and he told me, see, if you want to join our college, you have to repeat one more year, because you are coming from Andhra board, and in Karnataka board it's entirely different. You will have to repeat this. It was here that I don't know, I fell into some maya. Again, obviously Swami knows what and how he has to deal with me, or what would have been. Maybe there can be so many interpretations, including all my punyas, whatever, or credits by which you would allow me or not. But at least he said yes to that. But I foolishly thought that since I have to repeat one more year, uh, maybe I shouldn't be getting into. I don't know. Something went into my mind. There was one more strong reason. That was my father also. At that time, I think he was also about around 60 years, and my both brothers, they were US, and I somehow felt that I was the person who should be in the family to take care of my parents. So I left one of my greatest golden opportunities of joining Swami's college in spite of the divine assurance given. So that was the second point. But as I narrate a few experiences, you'll be amazed that that assurance which Swami had given. Actually, he gave me so many opportunities, just like a regular student would have had during my later period of life. So I am ever grateful to Swami for those things, and I hope I will be able to narrate within this session a few of those things. So the next thing was in 1977. Then I came back home, and I continued intermediate, and then I joined my BCom in Sri.R College. 1977, for the All India Summer Course, two people were picked for attending that. I was fortunate to go there. So I went to the summer course. We were there for 1 month. It was obviously we were lost. We were in some other world. Of course, because we came from different walks of life. So many college students from different walks of life. We also had our own bits of what to say, some mischievous fun and all that in the rooms and all that. So here and there were diversions. But again, always the focus would be on Swami during the day, mornings and all that. So just before I came to the summer course, my mother, she told me, why don't you ask Swami to perform your Upanayanam? I said, okay. I just took it very casually, and I said, okay. Just as 1 week was there for the summer course to end, they had organized a Seva camp at Russell Market in Shivaji Nagar, and they asked everybody to come there. I don't know, for some reason, I wanted to skip that. I pretended I'm cutting the story very short. I pretended I had a severe stomachache, and I bunked attending the Seva. Now, if I look back at all those things, incidents which happened, I'm shocked, I would say, to have done that when Swami was physically present just within a stone's throw of where we were all staying. But still, I did that. But I also realized that because it was Swami's will, also it has happened. Because from my narration, you will understand what happened. So the moment they left, I immediately got up and I went near the residence of Swami's gate. My intention was to do some seva inside Swami's residence. Somehow I wanted to sneak into Swami's residence and garden area to do some grooming, sweeping there. So when I went and stood there, somebody near the gate, they told me, why don't you kindly come inside and sweep the garden? This was the place where the present Krishna statue is. But those days there were bougainvillea trees and all that. So I went inside so happily, and nobody was there. It was just that person who was near the gate. That's all, completely barren. Swami was, I think, he was in the residence. I just went very happily. I was sweeping the place, and within 3 minutes or max 5 minutes, Swami came out of his residence, and he came straight and walked straight and stood near the present place where the Krishna statue was. There was no Krishna statue at that point when Swami went there. There was only a bougainvillea creeper, round arch-like creepers there. So the moment I saw Swami, I was stunned. I dropped my broom. I like what Suman said earlier when I had narrated this, it was like a remote control. I just dropped my broom and ran towards Swami, and with hands, in namaskar, I asked Swami, Naku Miru, idi Vadugu chestara, Punya Upanayanam chestara. I asked. This was the only question I asked. Swami looked at me and said, Chustanu. That's all he said. He didn't say anything else. Chustanu, Chustanu, he said. The moment he said Chustanu, I did not even touch his feet. Respectfully, I walked away and went back to my place where the broomstick was, and I started sweeping. I was trying to do my work again, and Swami walked back into his residence. I just didn't know why it all happened. I could have asked at least, if not 100 questions, at least 2-3 questions. I could have asked him, Swami, why don't you put me in the right track? Do you think I'm in the right direction? Give me something. Nothing of that sort happened. It was just blurting out one sentence, totally unprepared, only that sentence, and leaving the place. This was my major third interaction with Swami. And by Swami's grace, within 3 days or so, there was an announcement that from Swami that he would do Upanayanam for the people who wished that. And he also had instructed through the warden there, saying that we should inform our parents and call them for the Upanayanam ceremony. So just 2-3 days before the summer course was getting concluded, or maybe I think it was July 20th, 1977, that this Upanayanam was fixed, and it was arranged. It was arranged in the present library hall. Those days, all the buildings were completely vacant because they were all constructed and inaugurated only during that 1977 summer course. So the library building was also completely vacant, and we were made to sit inside. And there also, Swami, after giving his discourse, in which Upanayanam discourse specifically, he said, even if you're not able to do Sandhyavandanam or chant Gayathri 108 times, at least you chant Gayathri while you take your bath. This you should not miss. This was one very important part of the whole discourse, which also got into my small brain or big brain, whatever. And then after that, he came into the rows to bless all the people. There were about 30 to 40 people, I think, for this Upanayanam. Some participants from the summer course, and some from from the student side also. A few from the student side also. And as he was coming, I was trying to take a bowl of Akshada for his blessing to show him to put it. My mother shouted and told me, keep that down. Look at Swami's hand. Don't you see the Akshadas are coming just like that, involuntary. He is materializing and sprinkling. So we were all stunned. He was just shaking his hands, throwing, sprinkling his akshata, and they were falling in the newly mosaic. I could even hear the chal, so much of sound arising out of sprinkling of the sacred akshadas. So this was one more unforgettable experience in my life in 1977 as part of the summer course. And I was able to take some photographs also. In fact, Swami posed for some group photographs also when I was taking all of them. Very unfortunate, the whole bunch I don't have. Anyway, when Swami wills, I may or may not get it. This was the other interaction. Then moving forward, see, I was so close to Swami. Then 83, Swami came to Vijayawada to inaugurate the present Vijayawada Samithi. There also, I don't know if, by his grace, I was given the role of a photographer for that event. I didn't have a good camera, so I borrowed a camera from my close friend known as whose name was Ramakrishna. He had given his camera, and I took some photographs. All the photographs, of course, whatever was taken during that time, I had given it off to Samithi. I don't even have those negatives. Along with the negatives, I had surrendered it to the Vijayawada president then. And 1983, after that 83 September, I got my posting as a clerk in Andhra Bank in Kakinada. I feel definitely, both those events happening in 1983 also, it's very special for me, and it is Swami's blessing, obviously. For 4 years, I was in Kakinada. But what happened was 87, I got married. And as Suman had told me, told everybody, my wife, Girija, many of whom might be knowing, who attends the Samithi also along with us in the family. She also seamlessly joined the Sai movement. And today I'm so happy and glad to tell that she inspires me into following Swami's teachings, or is a great source of comfort and also support in the right conduct of life. So I owe a lot to her, and of course Swami for stepping into my life as well as our children's lives and my sisters and parents' lives. So so we got married and 87, and we also went to the Samithi. No, I'm sorry, not to Samithi, to Puttaparthi. As soon as we got married, we went to Puttaparthi, and I don't even remember specifically sitting for a darshan, telling Swami that we have come for, we have just been wedded, and please, I require. I don't know. Somehow those things never occurred to me, and we just sat for darshan. And when we went out, we took a stroll after all this darshan was over. We took a stroll towards that planetarium area where all these colleges and buildings are located. Those days, nothing was there. Only the planetarium was there in 1987, I remember. So as we were walking towards that place, before the planetarium, suddenly we observed that there was a car with a light cream colored car was coming past by. There was no rush, nothing. Suddenly, as I see, on my right, Swami's car was passing. I could see Swami inside. Just as the car had passed us, Swami looked out of the window, saw both of us, and he showed his abhayastam. We were stunned because after marriage, that sort of a blessing, when it did not occur to us, it has come to his mind. I mean, he has decided that he has to bless. In fact, this is one thing which I keep reminding myself, when, just like any other family, we also have sometimes differences and arguments at home. But at that time, I always recollect this scene saying that this is a sacred relationship blessed by Swami, and I need to follow Swami's teachings and be closely connected and do my duties. So this is one major, I would say, strong point in my life. And I'm very grateful, but for the fact, if I had not been in Sai's fold, I think I would have missed these things. Having spoken all about this wonderful Swami's, chances that he had given me, I don't deserve at that point of age when I was totally also in materialistic life, because I was also in college with other friends, parallelly after going to work, mixing with other people in society. It was not like a full Sai life that I was leading. It was both pleasure as well as some time in the spiritual setup. But honestly, I would say more casual. It was like that, taking everything for granted, in other words. So this came to a point where all of a sudden I somehow developed an allergy going to the Samiti in 1988 for some reason. By that time, my son was also born. Uh, I I don't know. I One of the reasons was I used to see that there was all. My father incidentally was a very good singer, and he used to play the harmonium in Vijayawada Samiti, and in fact he used to sing this Sri Ganesha Shivani Kumar also many times there. So against this background, I used to see that in these bhajans and all that, there are a lot of politics, and they used to keep complaining. I used to hear saying that this person has not sung. Why should he sing? Why should he not sing? Like that, these things were going on, and that put me off. I think that was a very small reason. Today, when I look back, that was never the reason for me to stay away from the Samiti. I literally stayed away in the sense I used to take my father to the Samiti every Thursday or Sunday on my scooter, drop him because it was my responsibility to see that he went comfortable to his Samiti, but I was not going into the Samiti. The very Samiti which Swami had inaugurated, you can imagine how foolish and how stubborn and arrogant my behavior was in doing such a thing. And this was going on and on and on and on. But one thing I should happily state, and I feel very grateful to Swami, is that yeah, everyday prayers. I would always see Swami's photograph only at home and pray to him as part of my regular prayers. It was not that I had any, uh, you know, uh, I didn't want to distance myself from Swami, and neither Swami wanted to throw me away. Also, I know for sure because I was always doing other things, ancillary things like my taking my son to Samiti for his Bal because later on when my daughter was born, she also to Bal. All these things I was doing, but I was not stepping into the Samiti nor going into any seva activities or nothing. So obviously I stopped completely going to Puttaparthi also. I now realize during the childhood of my children, how nice it would have been if they were exposed to Swami's darshans. But anyway, Swami would have been blessing them remotely or in his own inimicable way, I'm sure. So what happened was in 1995. That is indeed it was, I would say, it is like my second life also where Swami had given me. So in 1995, just like this, I was going to the Samiti one day to drop my father at the Samiti. This was, I think, a day or two before the Ugadi day. So when I was dropping my father, my there was one more singer there whose name was Durga Rao Garu. So he asked me, Ravi, నేను చూస్తున్నాను నువ్వు ఎందుకు లోపలికి రావట్లా భజన్కి రావట్లా నువ్వు కూడా పాడుతూ ఉంటావాడు కదా వై ఆర్ యూ నాట్ కమింగ్ అండ్ టేకింగ్ పార్ట్ ఇన్ యాక్టివిటీస్ ఐ టోల్డ్ హిమ్ సార్ ఐ హ్యావ్ ఆల్ ఫెయిత్ ఇన్ స్వామి ఐ నీ నాట్ కమ్ ఇన్ సైడ్ I am very happy as I am and I don't like the politics going on there. This is what I said. Very stupid of me to talk like that with an elderly person. He was also a good singer. So he just told me, your stance is so foolish. And I'm reminded of a story. He said, I am quoting that. Suman, do I have time to talk about this?
Yes, sir. Please continue.
Yeah, because I feel this is one of the most important things, not only myself, but every person who is in the Sai journey should always remember. I mean, this is my experience but it may have an impact on everybody's life. Hopefully, it should not, but if it does, it would have a good impact. So what he said was, I'm reminded of a story. There used to be one sage. One day he walked to the shore of a beach, and he was standing on the beach for not 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. He was just like any other saint or sage who had that shakti to stand without moving. He also was doing that. Then one small young boy, it seems. This was the story Mr. Durgarao sir was telling me outside the Vijayawada Santi. So he told me, the small boy looking at that sadhu, he ran to the sadhu and said, "Sir, I have been watching you since the past 2 days. Somehow you are not moving. What is the reason? Why are you standing like this?" The sadhu coolly said, "Sir, I am waiting for the cool waters of the ocean to come and touch my feet. That is the reason why I am standing here," he said. This young, very small boy, out of all innocence, he told the sadhu itself, "Sir, if you want to enjoy the coolness of the ocean that is coming and lapping the sands of this beautiful beach, why don't you just take a few steps and go and stand there? Then the sea itself will come and wash your feet gently, and it will make you feel so refreshed and so cool." The sadhu was stunned, it seems, and he realized his folly. And then he understood that if he was staying at a distance, he was not able to enjoy the sweetness and all the joys surrounding by going and actually standing near the ocean where it was coming and striking the beach. So he just told me, "Nee paristhiti kuda ఆ సాధు లాంటిదేనయ్యా Ravi," he told me. No, that was like a big hammer on my head. I felt very ashamed because he did not say anything else. That was enough of a message to tell me in what pathetic situation I was and the completely wrong way of thinking I was. The crux or the understanding that I spontaneously got was, see, you require the Samiti inside of Swami to be part of Swami's movement, to enjoy Swami. If you are going to stay outside, how can you enjoy Swami? Why did Swami create this Samiti? Why did he create all these seva activities? Why did he create such beautiful families like the families now who are in Satsang or the families who are around? Why did he do all this? He was not foolish to do. He would have granted everybody that space or freedom or that intelligence to experience him remotely all the time. So if you are standing here, you are missing out on a great life ahead. This was the message. You see, this is all. I was not actually even spiritually, a great thinker to understand so many things in life. Honestly, at that time of life, and he also, Durgarao sir, didn't make me feel bad saying so many things. But all these things, it was like a cinema opening up. Immediately, I decided that moment I should again get back into the Samiti, be part of the Samiti, and learn the lesson that I should never be tempted or distracted by what happens. It could be politics, it could be good thoughts. I mean, good thoughts, if it is there, we can always observe good things. But even if it is some talk which happens between two people, sometimes two people in the Samiti talk of some things, and when we are there, sometimes we like to even listen what is going on. Even that is bad, as long as it doesn't pertain to us. Even if you are able to listen, just don't take it to heart, but don't leave Sai. Sai means the Samiti, Sai Samiti, his activities. Don't leave that. That is the thing I learned during that, at the end of my this 7 years of exile. Fortunately, by Swami's grace, he protected me to make sure that there were nothing went wrong in my life, except, of course, I missed a wonderful span of my youth without being a part of that phase. So 95 again, it was my turning point because incidentally the very next day they were going to install the Premalingam which Swami had created for a group of about 30 people who had embarked on a scooter yatra from Vijayawada in 1995 January after Dhanurmasam. So during Dhanurmasam, they had Nagar Sankirtans at about 69 places. It was tuned according to Swami's birth age at that time. Swami was around 69, I think. So they conducted 69 Nagar Sankirtan, 69 home bhajans, and then went on a scooter yatra to Puttaparthi, which lasted for 4 days. And they did service activities on 4 days and reached Parthi. Swami was extremely happy. The photographs which you see are not of 1995 yatra; these are all of 1996 yatra. So this happened, and Swami had blessed the Samiti with a big sized lingam, and he told the members of the group, saying that you take this lingam and install it in the Samiti, and make sure you do Abhishekam every day. The waters of this Abhishekam, when taken, will have a healing effect to the who are sick, as well as a spiritual effect to whoever partakes it. From 1995 Ugadi day onwards to this day, this Lingabhishekam is being performed every day in Vijayawada Samiti, led by a dedicated band of about 5 to 10 people on gents and ladies side who chant Veda. They learned Vedas and all those slokams from right from that time. They would do this chanting, and the Abhishekam would be done by any two couples who book in advance a slot with the Samiti there. So we during so this was the thing, and they were going to install that lingam on the next day. The next day after my awakening of my slumber of 7 years. So it was a golden opportunity. So there was a big scooter yatra in scooter procession in Vijayawada, and I also went in that. That was my very first early morning procession. We went there, and it was installed. And after that, in 1996, immediately what happened was, 1995, after this installation, I became total with the Samiti. Got started attending Samiti activities and all that seva activity. Very first seva activity was in summer at the bus stand. That happens even now. The annual water camp there. Vijayawada, as many people would be aware, it is a very hot place, and these I mean during I had a opportunity to serve there. Then I heard that there was an opportunity to do 15-day seva in Parthi. I went there also. After that 15-day seva, we all had to go to Vrindavan because Swami was there for Padanamskarams. The Padanamskaram was the routine at that time after Darshan. So here also there was an experience. In fact, this is a very special experience also here. When we were sitting there for Padanamskaram in the present Sai Ramesh Hall, there also there was a scheming done with myself and my friend. We wanted to sit in the last row so that when Swami comes from the Darshan side, from the front, he would come from his residence and start giving Padanamskarams to the rows in zigzag fashion, starting from the dais, from the stage, and come to the last. So our plan was, if we sit in the last, then Swami will come to the last. He will spend more time in the last row than the first rows. Let us sit in the last row. Somehow we didn't go to the earlier rows, and we sat in the last row. See, so can anybody fool Swami by doing all this, doing these adventures? So typically of Swami, he did not, as soon as he came out of darshan, he did not go to the first row. He, for some reason, maybe to teach us a lesson, he came all the way through the pathway, adjacent Sai Kalyan Mandapa outside, and he walked into the Ramesh Hall only from the ladies' side uh, near the present hostel. From there, he came diagonally opposite to our place, and it was a shock that ours became the first row, and Swami also, it looked as if Swami was walking very swiftly also, as if to tell us, this is all that is for you. So he came near us. Before I could even realize that Swami was passing, I was last but one. Myself and my other friend, his name also was Ravi. We were a perfect pair of scheming Sevagal at that time. Scheming, of course, only was for Swami's love and attention, nothing more. but he was in the corner. I was next to him. And even before I realized that I was to take the Panamaskar, Swami had passed me, and I just happened to scarcely touch Swami's feet. And Swami went to my rear. And after that, as he was walking in the zigzag fashion, I was observing that people they were getting up on their knees, and whoever was getting up on his knees near Swami, you would have also seen many times in videos when Sevadals would stand on the knee, he would always, it would look like as if Swami is walking, taking support of the shoulders of Sevadals while moving, or gently patting their shoulder or head or whatever. It was such a proximity they were getting. So this started happening from the very second row, that is from behind, because Swami started his darshan from our row. I was observing this. Within going for 2-3 rows, I became some sort of what strange sadness started welling in my heart. I was thinking, what is this I have done, Swami? Why didn't I get that intelligence to stand up on my knees when you came? Maybe you would have touched my shoulder also. Some thought like this started. Then, as he was going into the middle rows, I in fact started weeping, seeing that scene. It is not jealousy, but it I 100% I didn't feel jealous of those people, but it was more of agony. And I started telling Swami, this is the first time I am coming for service. I have never done any service activity. Maybe you have taught me a lesson that I should do more service. Maybe there were some faults in my service in Puttaparthi. I was put in the hospital. Of course, by Swami's grace, we were able to devote all our time there at Swami's seva, purely his grace. But still I was feeling, maybe I should do better. I should do better. Why didn't you give me that? At least I was praying to Swami, at least next time when I come, you give me full strength so that I do perfect seva in a way you like. You won't believe, brothers and sisters, this was my prayer and tears, agony, everything. I was pouring out like mad, I would tell you. I don't know whether my neighbors they were watching me, but this was happening. By that time, Swami had passed zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. He had gone to the very first row, and there, from this end, which was almost the rear end where the shed was ending, we were there, to maybe 3-4 rows away from where the shed was ending. He saw from, I saw from this end, Swami was blessing a big photograph. A friend of mine from Vijayawada, who was also part of this Seva camp, he was blessing him. He put his hand on his head also, and that was like adding salt to my already suffering wound. He blessed him, and Swami was standing there. Then I was weeping all the time. I was weeping. Then within a few seconds, all of a sudden, Swami again started walking in the front row, parallelly towards the bell area, where even presently the big bell is hung, where they ring it during Aarti time. And there is also the small stair where Swami climbs up the stair, from the gent side to go to the stage. So he walked from the center of the stage down to that place, to the bell area, and he started walking in the corridor, totally empty. That side, there were no people were sitting because it was not darshan time. We were sitting there after 10:30, after all the crowd had left that day. So the other side was totally empty. Only we were inside the hall. As Swami started walking gently. He was not going into any of the rows into that. He started walking 3 rows, 4 rows, 5, 7. Till that I was watching. Sudden, I think we were in about 10th row or 15th, something, somewhere. When he was coming to the 10th row or so, something, my heart started pounding. I was thinking, Arey, Swami, if he comes at least to near our row, we could see once more Swami. Swami, please come this side, like that, like that. He was looking somewhere straight opposite direction, and he was waving his hand, and he slowly came, and you won't believe, he came and stood next to my friend in the corner, next to me. That is, my friend was there in the corner. That fellow, he was in seventh heaven, or what to say, cloud 9, and he fell at Swami's feet. And I was pulling that fellow by his shirt, saying, Bhaiya, please give me a chance and let me also feel Swami. He has come all the way from that side. And what Swami did was he immediately took a right turn. He came to me. Straight he came to me and looked at my eyes. This time I just knelt. No, nobody prompted, nothing. I didn't want to lose that opportunity. I knelt. Swami took his hand, his hand, he put his hand on my head and said, Bangaru. I don't know. It was just tears, again also tears, but this time tears of joy. Why? See, I realized at that time what power of prayer was. This was not a coincidence. Why? Usually after Padanamskaram, there is no reason for Swami to come like that. And it is not out of an egoistic thing I'm narrating that he came only for me. But there was no other way I can explain that phenomenon. I wept, and I think Swami heard that prayer and he came. Nobody else could know what was happening between me and Swami, right? So he came, and after he came to me, he did not walk near the next people also. He went back away in such a fashion nobody could again go to him. He moved away to the center place, and again he went to one more seva. And incidentally, another happy thing was that person was my co-sevadal, co-friend in the super sphere, where we shared a common place of work of handling telephones. He was the person sitting, and Swami materialized a ring for him. It was a Shirdi Sai Baba ring. He materialized a ring for him, and he went out and retired for the day. So these are some of my experiences, I would say. I don't know whether we are running out of time. I don't know whether I should share something or someone wants to ask something. I'm sorry, I was lost in this, but I thought there were some, and Swami made me talk these things, I would say, with some specific messages for each one of us. Sai Ram.
Thank you, sir. You would like to share anything about this bike? I mean, the scooter yatra you have done in 1996, interactions, the photographs you have shared.
Sure. Okay. So, as I said, 1990, since I was got back into Sai life full steam, by Swami's grace, they had again planned one more scooter yatra for 1996 also. So this was the scooter yatra, as you see. This time, because of everybody came to know about Swami's blessings during the earlier yatra, so there was a very good turnout. About 100 people had turned out. There are more than 70 scooters or so. Actually, on each scooter, two people would sit, and on each scooter there would be a placard giving Swami's message. You can, if you can blow up the photo here, you can see on scooters there are placards. You see the photo of scooters parked out of Vrindavan. We set out from Vijayawada at that time to cover 70 villages en route. It was we would start in the morning and stop in the night at some Samithi. Already, the advance intimation was given at that respective Samithi that we would be coming there, and they would prepare food and arrange accommodation for us to stay in that night, and we would move from there to the next place. Like that, lunch arrangement, and dinner was taken care for the entire 4-day stretch. And one more thing was seva activities was done at all the places in the form of giving utensils and blankets and all that. So here one more thing was our family also was extremely blessed to be part of this scooter yatra. Both my father, he was I think around more than 70 or 75. He also was part of this scooter yatra, and so he also had got this divine opportunity to be in this. And my wife, Girija, actually she is an artist, and she was asked to paint, on the canvas which was to be put up on a van which was following the scooters, where there was the mic system, and also a few elderly people like my father and other senior citizens who couldn't travel by scooter. They would be sitting there inside the van, and around the van, these canvases were planned, like depicting the super specialty hospital, depicting the water project, because the water project those days was a very important thing, which the people were coming to know with the Swami's movement. And the facilities available, the free facilities available to every person at the super specialty hospital, that also had to reach the common man in villages and all places, in Andhra Pradesh as well as other places. Those days, as you know, we did not have all this media and communication as we had, as we have now. So this was a beautiful plan of preparing, this material. And you can see my wife there in Vijayawada. She was even painting Swami's picture there, and the Swami's hospital, and that is the hospital ready. In fact, my wife tells me that she had never seen Swami's hospital also till then. That also is a big miracle, because she had physically not seen Swami's hospital till then. And she was drawing it only on the basis of one small calendar she had. Swami's blessings and guidance, no doubt. So we went after 4 days, and we actually, after we would stop at every village, 70 villages, sing 3 bhajans, get aarti done with the local headman of the village, and proceed to the next village. On the third day, when we had stopped at a village, Amritam started coming from the picture which was inside the van. If you don't mind, Suman, there's one more picture of the front van. If you can show that picture, you can. People can see that. I don't know whether this is. I think there's one more picture of the same in another. Okay, no. I think maybe you could show the same picture. So here, in fact, you can see, if you zoom up, there is Swami's picture inside with an abhayam inside the glass. So actually, on the third day, after this aarti was done, we observed that Amritam started trickling from that photograph. This was also a big blessing for everybody, and to pep up and gear us more for this. And then we went to, after 4 days, we went to Brindavan. We reached Brindavan on a particular day in the evening, and this photograph is the photograph of the next day, immediately morning, when we sat for darshan, waiting for Swami to tell us what to do or what he intends to do with us. So what Swami, the moment when he saw us, he said, "Yan Bangaru andaru vichara yatra bajarinda chala santosham." He said, and then he said, "Miru chala అలసిపోయి ఉంటారు, మీరు రెస్ట్ తీసుకోండి కొంచెంసేపు, నేను తర్వాత మీతో మాట్లాడతాను." He said, casually he told us. We were thinking, why Swami is asking us to take rest when we were so fully charged, waiting for the opportunity to see Swami. But anyway, that was the end of the talk. He went, gave darshan for others, and he went inside. We were given accommodation in the Alembic glass factory, which is after the railway crossing. I think even now it is there. So there also Sai devotees. So we were given, all of us, in those halls. We were given. It was pretty good. I mean, we had to spread our own blankets and sleep on the floor, but it was quite comfortable. We were very happy with that facility, and that's all we knew. The moment we laid on, we slept like logs. We found it very difficult to go for even that day's evening darshan. With a very heaviness we were going. Next day we went. Next day also Swami smiled at us. Mimalni Pilustani, he was saying. As soon as darshan was over, we went to the Alembic class. Again we were collapsing and sleeping. Like this for 2-3 days it was happening. Third day what happened was, where Padmanabhan uncle, he was there with Swami, and he came and told us, after Swami went inside, he came and told us, Swami has told that today he will call all of you into his, he will give you a interview. So we were extremely happy that day. And he said, Swami, city kellu vastaru, he said. So we were sitting there. Time went on 10:30, 11, 11:30, 12. Swami didn't come. Finally, around 12:30, Swami came back from his city. We were all in that Sai Ramesh hall only. Then he went inside. Then Padmanabhan sir came and told us, see, Swami is very tired. He has to take rest. So Swami said, tomorrow he will talk. So the next day, fourth day, this was, Swami came and said, మిమ్మల్ని మీతో మాట్లాడతాను ఇవాళ. So today it was like that final day. So then he, after he went for after darshan, somebody came and told, you please go and sit in that Kalyan Mandap. There Swami is there. Immediately we rushed there and took vantage positions across that pathway where he would walk in that Kalyan Mandapam, present Kalyan Mandapam only. We were sitting. For 5-10 minutes, no, nothing happened. Then after 15 minutes, somebody came and said, Swami told us to call all of you inside his residence. We least expected this. So immediately we went out. And one more thing is, during this scooter rally, we were specifically asked, both earlier rally and this rally also, not to pose any personal problems with Swami. If anybody wanted to ask something Swami, it should be purely spiritual. This was the strong understanding we had received from our coordinator, and we went with that discipline to on this yatra. So we went systematically disciplined. We went inside in a row, and we went inside and sat inside that. If you have seen inside train, there is even now the present Jhula. Jhula, if you can, yeah. So this was where Swami was seated. We were all asked to come and sit in that arch like place there, and we were all seated there, about 100 people like that. And Swami, within 10 minutes, he came there. He was very happy. He told, you must have encountered a lot of difficulty. We said, no, Swami, we were happy and all that stuff. And then he materialized a ring and gave it to our Sevadal coordinator, sir. His name is Venkateshwar Rao. He's in the extreme corner, who is looking at Swami. That was the ring Swami was going to place before him. And Swami gave a discourse. He gave a beautiful discourse of various points. Honestly, I don't remember, but only one thing I remember is he said, sorrows and pains will be in life, but don't get too distracted or involved and feel sad. They're all like passing clouds. They will all pass by. So this was one Swami's instruction message. Then as Swami then went inside, and we were made to sit inside the present around the place where the tribe, all that pujas go on. We were seated there in rows, and Swami came and he gave, we have bunch full of vibhuti packets to each one of us, every person, and he was blessing whatever we were giving, whether it is a calendar, whether it is a pen, whether it was something else. In fact, and one place he gave me those vibhuti packets, and he was smiling. And the next place, when he went back to another row, I don't know, somehow I stood and again showed his exam pad I had bought in the store that day morning, and I showed it to him, wanting him to put his hand there. But instead, he took a bunch of vibhuti packets and smilingly he put it on that, on that pad. Later, after that, everybody circled around him. He took Aarti, and Swami is Swami because, in spite of the fact that we had all surrounded and it like zeroed him, he very casually started walking somewhere. We thought he was just going out, going inside somewhere, and he would come back to talk. He didn't tell us. He went through the other door outside. He got into the car and he went out on his own. He knew that was the only way to escape from this mob. He went out. Then immediately the security people there came and said, "Bhaiya, that's all. You enjoyed enough. You can now go." So this was a beautiful, time we had during that 1996 trip. Yeah, Sai Ram. I'm very sorry. There were other points, like even professionally and all that. I know running out of time. Whatever Suman deems it fit. You please, I apologize if I went beyond than what I should say, Sai Ram.
Anything, any experiences you would like to share on the professional front also? Because it's more challenging to practice Swami's teachings in, the real world, especially at workplaces. So, did you face any challenges, and how did you face them?
Absolutely.
Anything?
Thanks
Hmm.
for that question, because that also is a very important thing. Because as a working person, I was posted as a manager of Hassan branch. In fact, that was my second posting as a manager. It was a place totally unknown to me, but fortunately, by Swami's grace and he giving me his mind, I first went and approached only the Hassan Samithi president there. Even for shelter and guidance and all that, I slept in Hassan Samithi's guest room above that Samiti. They gave me immediately, they asked me to sleep there itself. 3 days I was there, and the branch also was inaugurated only with the help and assistance of Sai Samiti members more than bank people. They were more in number than even our bank people during the inauguration. So what happened here was, as the year was progressing, it was very difficult because there were already about 19 nationalized banks in that place, and ours was about the 20th or something. And competition was so tough in such a small place. There was no way we could gather fresh business or more accounts. It was very challenging. I used to get bombardments from the zonal office saying, "What is this?" and no accounts and all that. There also, Swami sent somebody, and a very ordinary person. He linked me to a big industry there in what a garment house. In fact, it was not a casual garment; it was a very prestigious garment house. And accounts started coming. In fact, it started pouring in from there, and it was not zero balance accounts. Also, they are all fully packed accounts, salary accounts, and our branch was began started coming to limelight, and it was like one of the best branches like in the zone, which was achieving some figures in respect to accounts. But having said this, there was I went through a very difficult phase where what happened was one of I had while giving a loan. In fact, as bank people, most of us slip only in loans during the banking career. Even I also had to face a similar situation. The only difference is here, it was a professional person. He approached. He was in fact a Sai devotee, an elderly person, not of course beyond 60 or something, elderly, quite elderly, and a very nice gentleman also. So he came to me and said, "Sir, I want a loan from your bank. Can I get it?" I was extremely happy because number one, he was a Sai devotee, and number two, he was doing very good in his profession. Uh, for some reasons, I'm not telling you the profession because it may not look nice. I mean, I'm just telling in what profession it was, but he wanted it for his uh, place. So he wanted about 4 lakhs of loan, and he was not in a position to give any security. Unfortunately, at that time, there was a system where there were MSME loans, MSME which was introduced, and which the government wanted to push also, where loans could be given up to 3 to 4 lakhs without any collateral security. So I thought this was perfect, and I could give this loan to this person because he really deserved it, because his profession was doing very well. So I discussed that. He was very happy. I was very happy that I was able to get a good loan. Then the installment was, of course, high those days, like it was about 10,000 or something. But here, part of that MSME loan granting was a stipulation that that the bank should debit an insurance premium to that account. The insurance premium will, of course, be added to that account, but it has to be done so that in case the account fails at a later part of life, the insurance corporation will make good whatever loss. It will not go to NPA status. So this was a provision, and there was a cutoff date. So I was under severe pressure because I was the only person staff. Sometimes it was like only the manager and the cashier to handle the whole bag due to lack of staff. And there was always some sort of pressure like this happening. So I was a little negligent on following that cutoff date, and I missed that cutoff date by a day where I was supposed to debit that insurance premium. I missed it. Later, I asked my zone office people what I need to do. They said you can't do anything. You just need to ensure that that load doesn't go bad. Now started my getting scary, and it was that time. After a few months, I observed that this person was finding it difficult to pay the installment. So he was paying the install. He earlier was extremely proud. Then instead of the month end, he would pay about 3 days after the first week of the next month. Like that, it was getting postponed by 3 days, 1 week, like that. I sensed something was wrong, and only later I realized. I came to know that this person had faced severe financial crisis earlier, but he had a house property. All those things were there, but they could not be liquidated to meet this loan. I knew I was in a terrible fix. I started my prayers to Swami severely, saying that this is the only good loan I thought I had made, and I had missed on this. Then within a month or so, I had got my transfer in 2011. This branch was inaugurated in 2009. 2011, I was to be relieved and come back to Bangalore. Just in that month, this person came to I was fed up with that person actually at a point of life. So he came to my office one day, branch, and I thought, I was actually happy thinking he was going to repay. Of course, at that day he didn't bring any money, but instead he brought some other news. He came to me and said, "Sir, I wanted to meet you because I have to convey something very important to you." I said, "What?" He said, "Sir, yesterday Swami came in my dream." And he said, "It's a very, very long time since Swami came into in my dreams, very long time, in fact." So when somebody says Swami came into a dream, in spite of whatever the status, we will obviously feel at that point at least some thrill to hear. I asked him what it was. So he said, "Sir, as soon as Swami came, I immediately knelt down and I was trying to take his Pada Namaskar. I touched his feet, and when I wanted to thank him and I looked at him, I did not find Swami, sir. Instead, I found you there standing in front of me," he said. I was, even then, I thought this is something bizarre, and need not take much account about it. But I was thinking somewhere something is strange. Then he said, "Sir, what happened was next again I felt I was also stunned. I did not know why you were standing there. So I again bent, thinking that I made a mistake. I am touching only Swami's feet, and I again touched those feet. And when I looked up, again Swami was standing there. This time I asked Swami, "Swami, how is it that I saw you first, and that is why I came and went for Padanamaskar? Then I saw that bank manager in your place. How is it this can happen?" It seems Swami looked at him and said, Am I and not the bank manager not one and the same?" This statement, when he told me, I was stunned. Swami says that we should feel that we should see every Swami in everyone, which we all forget when we interact. But Swami is saying to this person, am I and that bank manager not one and the same? He said that and vanished. This is what the person told. And the moment he said that, I knew this loan will not go bad. Though I had to leave the branch within 1 or 2 weeks, I thought Swami will take care, and somehow I can leave this branch peacefully. He did not, of course, pay the installments immediately, like the 2-3 months pending was there as I was leaving. So I left Hassan, always thinking of this. I even thought if I retire, I should take premature retirement in case this loan goes bad. I will silently, even without telling my wife, deposit my entire, part of my proceeds, which would come to about 10 lakhs or so. Part of that, let that 3-4 lakhs go to this loan, because It was purely my negligence. I had to make good. There was no other way. Otherwise, I would be suffering with guilt throughout my life. So I was rid with these thoughts. But fortunately, after 6 months, there was a phone call from that branch, Hassan branch, and I thought they were going to bombard me with this loan only. They asked me some other question, and very sheepishly I asked him, "Arey Baba, what happened to that loan? Did you go to him?" He said, "Why are you asking about that? He came, and in fact, he cleared that loan in advance also. It seems he got some payment later, and he has cleared. Don't worry about that one. It is fully settled." See, these are the miraculous ways of Swami, where he enters into our profession without our expectation. Of course, our expectation was our prayers. In fact, dear brothers and sisters, even in my cabin, I was having Swami's photo with my founder's photo, that is uh, Subbarao Garu, who was the ex-chairman uh, of our bank. His photograph and Swami's photograph in wheelchair during his 100th birthday. Swami had taken a picture, and that was the photograph I had kept. And I used to always pray to them, pray to Swami and him, and used to do my daily activities. But Swami has saved me. Not only has saved, he taught me an important lesson that I should always also, just like how Swami sees, I should also see Swami in everybody. So this was the biggest and loudest message in my professional life. I don't think I could have any better experience in life. Sai Ram.
That's it. So wonderful. So before I would ask about that photograph, you would like to talk anything about vibrionics? You would like to share anything, any experiences related to vibrionics, or if you want to enlighten people who don't know about vibrionics?
Yes. I don't think people now there won't be anybody who has not heard of what vibrionics is. But yes, I think I can tell you about that. Uh, yeah. So, what is vibrionics? I'll just tell you very briefly. It is an alternative system which works at curing diseases by acting on the subtle body. Subtle body means what we can't feel, what it is like the Atma, or what about the chakras within the body. That is the subtle body which we refer to. And one needs to understand that we are always surrounded by vibrations. You see, we talk of positivity, negativity, and all that stuff around each one of us. So what these things do is actually have a impacting way of creating disturbances on our normal life, and diseases arise because of these various frequencies clashing in this universe. It could be either through birds, animals, or humans, whatever. All these frequencies distract every person. And so we need to align our chakras. And one of of course, the most profound way and the important way is to be always think of Swami and chant God's name. That is the best way to align these chakras. The next thing, what God has given from Swami to mankind is, I would say, vibronics, which is popularly known as the Satyasai vibronics. This is a very holistic way of treatment, which does not involve any chemicals or anything. It acts only on the spiritual, emotional, and physical aspects of the body by healing the chakras and setting it right. It is helpful even from the stage of babies to adults, and also even to animals and plants as well. So this is something which has been blessed by Swami. We need to have faith that it will work. And actually, if most of you might be aware, during our COVID times, due to the research team of the Vibronics, which is headquartered at Puttaparthi, now it is like I would say, like a university by itself. They had researched and they had brought out a combination of remedies put together, which was known as immunity booster, fondly referred by everybody as IBs. So these IBs were came into existence as part of this vibrionics in the form of the sugar pills, which immensely helped all the people who were affected and not affected, also protecting them from the dreaded COVID scare. So I know so many people who would say that who are not affected, they would say who are devotees as well as non-devotees, saying that these vibrionics, these IBs, because it is with us, we are sure COVID will not attack us. It instilled even faith in the person merely by having that with hand, and they used to diligently ask for IB pills. Even Suman used to ask so many people in our Samiti, they would ask, and by Swami's grace, we had made an arrangement to keep those pills in bottles near Swami's altar where the weekly Narayan Seva happens. And it used to get empty, and used to be our team of members like Dr. Mrs. Purnima, Sri Hari, so many people, Lalita Madam, and all these people, they used to take turns and refill it with those IBs. So, my friends, I urge you strongly to take vibrionics, which can be taken along with the allopathic treatment you take. The main thing is, if you're already in an allopathic treatment, vibrionics will help cure your maladies faster. And not only that, it will give you a pleasance, pleasantness of mind, a positivity of mind, maybe to think of better things around you and to do better in life. This much I can say about vibrionics. Of course, uh, it would be better to talk on vibrionics some other time. Where all it has impacted also even in animals, even in Puttaparthi Gokulam. I had an opportunity to be there for about 2 weeks in 2012. Even for the cows, they allowed the trust people. They graciously allowed vibrionics to be given to the cows, and even to Satyagita also when it was there. This vibrionic pills daily, and it was at that time actually. I'm just going out of the way. It was purely Swami's grace. It was at that time that this idea of even mixing vibhuti, to in the fodder of cows started. When this vibrionic pills was given, along with that, we thought vibhuti also would be good. And from that time onwards, for many years, even till now, every day, a 2 rupees packet is mixed in the morning, and a 2 rupees packet, full packet of vibhuti is mixed in the fodder and given to all the cows. So that Swami is taking care of the cows also. So this much vibrionics directly or indirectly has been, helping people, animals, birds everywhere around. Around.
Thank you very much, sir, for enlightening about vibrionics. So yeah, you would like to talk about the photograph, which you always wished. Sairam, sir, I think we
I'm
lost you.
sorry, I'm sorry, I was in mute.
Okay.
So this is a photograph. I relate to what Swami had told me when I was a child of boy of 10 years, that he would give a photo. I also forgot about that, but in between I would think why he is not giving a photo whenever I used to see him during darshans. So during 97 or something, just before Ugadi, I had a desire that we had a small plot of land where we did a little bit of farming in Vijayawada, very small bit, and there we wanted to have a homeopathy camp, and there I wanted to have a big Swami's photo, a big enough standing photo. I want this desire suddenly came into my mind just about 3-4 days before Ugadi day. I thought this was a desire in vain, because that could be fulfilled only if I go to Puttaparthi and try to source it, because nowhere else big photographs was available in those days. Anyway, it was a desire. I desired it and I forgot it. And what happened was, on Ugadi day morning, I went for the Nagar Sankirtan in Vijayawada Samti. And as I was sitting for the Omkaram. After the Omkaram and the Suprabhadam was over, usually people sit for a few seconds, 10-15 seconds, and then get up. So in the 10-15 seconds, I don't know, for some reason, there was another big Swami's photograph, a traditional photograph with Abhayastam. I saw that and I immediately, again, I was telling Swami, Swami, I was desiring a photograph for Ugadi Day. I think there is no way I can get it. I thought like this. I wish this photograph came to me like that. I thought, and as people were getting up to go outside for Nagar Sankirtan, I also got up and went for Nagar Sankirtan. Finished it, went home. After about 2 hours, my mother said, "Can you go and call one person? One person by name Appara, he used to come and help us in our home for some affair, for some things on a weekly basis to set things right and all that." So she gave me that errand to bring him. Actually, I was not at all interested, but somehow because she told me I had to go, he was staying in Krishna Lanka. We were in Surya. So distance wasn't much, maybe about 2-3 kilometers. Anyway, I went there, and while coming back, while going to his place, I observed, because it was Ugadi day, I observed this vapor. What do they call in English? Vapor.
Neem.
Neem, exactly. These neem leaves bunches, they were being sold on the footpath on a bridge because it was Ugadi day. Obviously, here also it happens. But only when I saw that neem bunches, I suddenly recollected that a close friend of mine nearby, he told me, Ravi, you have neem tree in your garden there in that site. Why don't you get me those neem bunches? I said very proudly that time, so easy, I'll bring. I totally forgot. The moment I saw that, I recollect, then I thought, how is he going to know whether I brought it from my house or this place? Let me buy and give it. So I bought 2 bunches of this neem leaves and went to that Appara's house. And as I was getting back, I went to my friend's house to give it. This friend had a brother, and this friend was working. He had a battery shop. The other friend was having a photo shop. So this battery shop brother only asked me this. So I went and gave that bunch. He felt extremely happy. He said, "Arey Ravi, baga gurtupettukunnavu. Thank you." Only I knew that I cunningly gave him a bunch which I bought on the roadside. Anyway, I gave it. Then I told him casually, "I have brought one more bunch. Why not I give it to your brother also?" His brother also was equally a good friend. So he said, "Okay, he's there. You give." That his brother was staying in a big godown like place in the front, and behind that godown, that his house was there. So the moment I rang the bell, his wife came and opened the door of that godown first. And the godown had a lot of materials, including batteries, photo things, and all that stuff, and all that. And she said, Vastaru, mine Vastaru, my husband will come. You wait here, she said. And she went. From the distance, I saw something as if Swami's photo was standing there. It was kept there. And half of Swami's hair, head, and all that had gone. It was eroded actually. It was totally brown like that from a distance. It was like a distance of about 40 feet from away. I was watching it. And my heart started pounding. What is this Swami's photo here? Because this person, this boy, in fact, I used to meet him every 2 days. They were very close. And he also knows that we are all Sai family devotees and all that. But never did he mention one thing, that he had a photo of Bhagwan there. So before he came, I started walking desperately and very worriedly, because that head part was damaged. So I started walking towards that photo, and there, when I reached just 1 foot before the photo, I saw that actually that head part was not damaged, but it was only a very old brown wrapper. See, normally when they pack a whole photo, other things have got torn and they have opened up. Only this part was clinging. One diagonal triangle-like thing was clinging on front of Swami's head near the hair, and that brown paper from the distance looked as if that photo had got damaged. I slowly lifted that paper and was greatly relieved to find that full photo, which was laminated also, was intact there. In fact, the present laminated photo is the same photo I'm talking to you about. And I immediately, my heart was racing. It was full of excitement. The photo was full of dust. I searched for a cloth there. In fact, I didn't get a good cloth. Whatever cloth was there, I dusted the cloth and quickly, cleaned that photo. And I was waiting for my friend to quickly come out. The moment he came out, his name was Hanu. I asked him, "Hey Hanu, how come you have this photo and you have never told me about this?" He said, "That is a long story. Actually, a devotee like you only had brought this photo. He brought it as a roll and he gave it to me and asked me to laminate it. It has been lying this for months. He has not come and claimed it," he said. Then, obviously, at that time, any person may choose, what would he ask? That person has not claimed. Why not I take it? So I asked him very cautiously, "Can you give me that photo?" I asked. He said, "At least you are a Sai devotee, you take it." Then my second question was, what if that he is also a Sai devotee after all. Where is he? I said, he is in Bandar, he said. Then Machilipatnam. I asked him, suppose he comes again just after I've taken the photo and he demands the photo, what is my plight? I'll tell him, sir, he told me this. I sent him 2 postcards earlier, reminding him to take the photograph. All these months he has not taken. Is this a way how a person should behave? He told me, such an important, he has not shown any interest. Where I'll tell him that I could not keep the photograph, you can take it. See, immediately I brought the photograph out, took the same friend's neighbor, the battery friend's help on his scooter. We took the photograph and it reached my home there in Surabaya exactly on Ugadi day. Within 3 hours or 4 hours of my prayer early morning at Sri At that point, I recollected this may be what Swami thought, that I'll give you a photograph. When you become big, when you actually know the importance of a photo or realize how it has to come. These are all not coincidences. Everything Swami has carefully, made me do that. Even that bunch of neem leaves, but for the neem leaves which I saw, but for my mother asking me to go out, I would have missed. And maybe my friend also would never have told me that he had this precious photograph there. From that day, 1997 or so, till this day, by Swami's grace, we have this photo with us, Sai.
That's so wonderful evening today. Uh, you sharing amazing stories of yourself right from your the first interview where you asked Swami photograph, and finally Swami fulfilled his promise. And when you really yearned for him, he presented you the photograph. So you started with your interactions after that. Interaction with Swami during your All India the summer course, just like like as everything is his will, just like as his will you were on that autopilot mode. Just you asked that question and you just left, and Bhagwan also left, as if because your mother asked you just to ask that question. So Swami made it sure that you asked only the question, not even Path Namaskar. So that we can say that everything is as per his will. There's nothing called random event. So everything is his will. And one more assurance you gave us, like at least one should chant Gayatri during bath, at least if you're not any time else. Definitely you should chant during bath. And you talked about your blessings of Swami after your wedding, and the story of your that hibernation when you cut off and slowly Swami bringing you back to the Samiti, and so that when you realize it fully, the kind of intensity that you had and the wonderful stories you had shared regarding your that scooter rally which happened in 1996, and the close quarter darshan of Swami, interactions with Swami and all that, and power of prayer especially that you have explained how can bring from anywhere. The power of prayer of devotee such that it can bring Swami from anywhere and can make us stand him before us. And you even spoke about especially the importance of oneness through your experience at the workplace, especially through the dream of your client. How Swami explained as the oneness. It's not only for him, it's for every one of us, to see Swami in every one of us. Probably our outlook only changes and probably the kind of relationship which exists between that itself totally changes with the person when we see Swami in every person. That's amazing, and you're enlightening about vibrionics. I think regarding vibrionics, I think more kind of awareness is required, maybe for the newcomers also, for the people who haven't known also. I think a separate session, as you said, we can have a complete discussion on that vibrionics, maybe more wonderful stories of devotees and their experiences with vibrionics also we can share, and wonderful photograph these things. So it's been so wonderful evening with enriching experiences of yours. So with this my questions end. This is open to the forum now. If any of the listeners have any questions, kindly pose your questions. Saira.
Sairam, Suman, I would like to start.
Yes, please.
Ravi, fantastic. I mean, beautiful experiences, every one of them. 2 points that really come to my mind. One is the organization. Swami has told us so many times, don't leave the organization. I was also guilty of not singing bhajans for almost a year and a half. I mean, nobody missed anything except me. So, and I learned it after a while. Some elder told me, you're showing your anger on Swami and you're not showing your anger on the person who you think has done you wrong. So that's something that we were reinforced again in this beautifully. And we should all be part of the organization. Second thing is vibrionics. I had this very bad back last month, or about 6 weeks ago, and Ravi said, "Why don't you try vibrionics?" I mean, I was so much in pain for about a couple of weeks, and then those tablets in 5 days cured me completely. Frankly, Ravi, I mean, I would never think some homeopathic pills, which are generally very time consuming in its resolution, I never thought that it could work so fast. Faith again, charged. And I mean, I also saw a video today of how any chanting or any vibrations in which are infused into anything can form these beautiful geometric patterns. So that's what really happens with Swami's Vibronics. Thank you again, Ravi. It's a beautiful session. I have to go away. So I took this opportunity to be part of the first questioner. Thank you. Thank you again, Suman. Thank you, Ravi. Sairam.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Any questions or anything you'd like to share? Any thoughts? Sridhar sir, Amarnath sir.
When is
Yeah,
part?
I have something. I want to talk. Can
Yes,
When
I?
is
please.
part?
Yes,
1 minute.
yes.
When is part two coming, Ravi?
I am not worthy of any part two. I should tell you actually. I I mean, part two is all about the Sai family, I would say, because I have also thought, because once Suman told me, if you were not in the Sai fold, how would your life be? Uh, I think I would have missed meeting wonderful people whom I know presently as well as in the past, all these decades. Uh, I would have missed everything. Of course, maybe I would have been in another group, but never know these sort of opportunities, and along with the fact that we can always converse with God, uh, definitely without any doubt. That sort of confidence wouldn't have definitely come if I had been somewhere else. So my part two will be only. I mean, it is not my part two. I owe to each one of you for all your affection and love and the grooming I have been getting with my association with all elders, like-minded people in this I group, youngsters, whoever it is. Whenever I meet everybody, it is always the part two only for me. Sairam.
Yeah, Amarnath sir, you were asking something.
Yeah. It's beautiful and lovely. Thank you very much, Suman. You see, I'm supposed to be close to Ravi, but I did not have the privilege to know so many beautiful interactions from Bangaru Ravi Garu, who's my dearest brother. It was a lovely session. Thank you very much, Suman. And then, of course, thank you to my loving brother, Ravi. And you see, this I have only one question to ask Ravi, if he doesn't mind. You see, what really inspired Girija to come into Swami's fold? Is it the blessing what she received from the car? Or is it some particular incident which brought her into the Swami's fold? Can you share that, Ravi, if you don't mind?
Sairam sir, honestly, I don't think there was any particular incident. Maybe I can ask Girija if she wants, if Suman permits, I can ask her.
Yes. Yes. Sure.
But honestly, it was so seamless. Just give me a second. I'll ask her. Please give me a second. I'll be on mute for a minute, please, if you don't mind.
Sure, sir.
Suman, if you don't mind, can you show that photograph of the painting once?
Yeah.
Sairam, Amarnath sir, maybe you can ask the question to Girija itself. Amarnath sir was asking what inspired Girija to come into the Sai fold and how did she?
Sairam, sir. Sairam, everybody.
Sairam, ma'am.
Girija, I hope you don't mind answering. Sairam.
Sairam. Actually, I was brought up in a pious family. So after getting married, also the family was same like, and of course in my family it was not there. Sai devotion was not there earlier, but we had one photo of Sai, our Swami. But after getting married, I by default I got inspired, and praying to Swami as my Swami. Sarvadharma, and everything was very much impressive for me. So automatically I got absorbed in this family, Sai family. That's
Lovely.
why, yeah.
Lovely. Thank you. Lovely, Girija. Thank you.
Sairam. Sairam. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you, ma'am. Jagadish sir, any question? Anything you'd like to share?
Hey Ravi, such a beautiful session. Thank you so much.
Yes, Jagdish sir, Sairam. Thank you. You were about to say something. I lost your voice.
Yeah. I think he got in mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I said it's such a beautiful and rich experience and very touching. Yeah, thank you for sharing it. I think I as you were narrating some of these things, some thoughts came to me, and I'm just sharing that. Your photo experience reconfirms that what
Lost him. We have lost him on voice.
Yeah.
Jagdish.
Jagadish sir, you've been muted again.
I don't know why it goes on mute. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
And your Vijayawada Samithi experience so beautiful here. I mean, so he actually I don't know why it keeps going on mute here.
Yeah.
Did you hear me or you? I think it
Yeah,
again
we were
went.
hearing for some time. After that, it's getting into mute.
Acha. So I was just thinking, that's what Swami always says. Now, if you take one step, I'll take 10 steps. I think that's the same experience that that sage and the sea and what your Vijayawada Samithi gentleman said. It was beautiful. That kind of reminded me of that. It was very interesting to see Collector Swami collecting your loan. It was so beautiful. So beautiful. You know, what all roles Swami plays. Yeah, my God. And I think Vibronics, as I know you a little, Ravi, I think you are really a personification of the positivity with all the challenges that you're gone through and going through. It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. It was a very inspirational session. I really enjoyed it. And thank you, Suman.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sai Ram.
Anyone else would like to have any questions or any thoughts?
Sai Ram,
Yeah, say this, please.
very inspirational sharing, Brother Ravi.
Sai Ram, sir.
I heard him share over few sessions all these experiences, and it is very nice to hear all over again. Most importantly, when he talked about Vijayawada Samithi, that manifested Shivalingam, for which they perform Abhishekam every day. Based on his inspiration, when I visited Vijayawada, I went to that Samiti and had the golden opportunity to witness that. I'm really grateful to you, Ravi, for that sharing. Yeah, during COVID times, I was one of the beneficiaries. Not only did this sweet guy would prepare the Vibronics medicine and give it to everybody, he came home many times to give me to ensure that I'm all right. That is the kind of love he radiates. I just thought I'll just mention this. Yeah, you said the power of prayer, the tears of agony converting into tears of joy was again a very moving thing on the professional side, that experience. And all of us have a slip every now and then, but then if Sai is included in our everyday way of life, he will also find solutions to mitigate and make you more aware of the professional self. Thank you, Ravi. Beautiful evening. Great satsang. Very fortunate to be
Thank you.
here. Sai Ram.
Thank you, Swami, actually. He brought out all this.
Mhm.
Yeah, CM Rao, sir. Yeah, please. Suresh, sir. Sir, yeah, you can ask your question. Suresh, sir? I think you're on mute.
Suman, maybe I can quickly add something in between.
Okay, sure.
So I would really like to narrate, not this time, maybe in another session, this miracle of miracles during a Corona evening on June 2nd, 2021, where Ravi turned the world upside down to help my wife's aunt. So that's a story I wrote it in the SNS core group also, purely not to forget what happened. There's so many details in it. I don't remember all of them now, so I need to go through it once again. But I just want to thank Ravi for having been there for us that day. The aunt is still alive and kicking today, only thanks to Ravi and Swami. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Come on, Sumbu. It was just a coincidence. I don't know. You got an opportunity that term, but all the running around and things that were done was done for your aunt only by the people there in Chennai. I mean, it was just
The connection, Ravi. The connection was even in a Hindi movie. Such a plot cannot be. You can never see such a complicated plot.
see
It's
that,
something that it.
this is one of the beauties I always feel while being in Swami's fold. You know, I would always whether we can ever enjoy these plots like what you said in when we are not in Sai's fold and when we are just connected to deity worship, or maybe we would know, but somehow here we always see we are able to connect with things. It's not as if others wouldn't have experiences. I should not say that at all. In other faiths or their own prayers, but here we at least are able to enjoy and know that and benefit out of that, I would say.
Actually, this is a corollary to the other question that Suman had asked, which is, what would, or somebody else asked, what would have happened if you were not in Swami's fold? The answer is actually there is a term called in mathematics tautology, which is something that is assumed, or it's the end, which means that we don't choose or we don't decide when we start following Swami. He has already chosen us because of some punya in our previous janmas. So there's no question of our getting into the fold. He brings us in. Thank you again, Ravi. Sai Ram.
Thank you.
Sairam, actually, I would like to add one more small thing. I feel when we are in Sai's fold, the family is extended. It's when I came to this family, my family is extended to Sai family. So I feel everywhere, wherever we go, we get the love and affection of the family of Sai family. Actually, when I got transferred to Trishur, there they actually welcomed me like anything, like. They were, in fact, actually, he is telling, I will, you are given a red carpet welcome like that. I was welcomed into the Sai Samithi when I went there. Similarly, even my daughter is enjoying the company of Sai family in far beyond in Seattle. So that way, wherever we go, we get the assistance and we get the love and affection and the warmth of the Sai family. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you.
Sai Ram sir, I am Suresh.
Yes, sir, please.
Thank you, Brother Suman. Thanks, Ravi Shankar sir. You actually made us the day for the your talk. Actually, it reminded me so many things. I stay in Visakhapatnam, sir. I recently went to Vijayawada Mandir. We did Shatrudriyam there. We in Andhra we have this thing called 108 Mahanyasapuraka Shatrudriyams we are performing. Mostly 3 to 4 weeks in a month, weekends, Sundays we are performing. And 2 months back I had the opportunity of visiting this Vijayawada Mandir and did Abhishekam to the Lingam which Swami has blessed. So I'm really happy you reminded me. And fortunately, you being an employee of Andhra Bank, I do belong to the family of Andhra Bank. My father was an ex-employee. Sairam sir. And many other, it's like I relived the moments. Like you told about 96, 95, 96 Parthi Yatras. You did it on bikes and we did it on cycles in 96. And even in Sai Ramesh Hall, we had an interview. That also you two had an interview there. See, it's all yeah, I really relived the moments. I really enjoyed. Thank you very much, sir.
Actually, thank
Sairam,
you.
sir.
Sir, thank you very much, Suresh, sir, for your share. Suman, I just need to add one more thing which I forgot. Thanks to Suresh, sir, actually he reminded of that interview. Excuse me. Actually, when Swami called us into Trai Brindavan, at that time, the very first sentence, what he told the entire group while saying before he started discourse, he said, "You are the first group of people I am ever calling into my residence." This is how he started. We didn't expect this at all. We didn't even know about Trai Brindavan or what that setup was. But he told like that and said, "You are so privileged. Remember this blessing," like that. He started his conversations that day. Sai Ram.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I really cherished every moment of your talk. I relived again. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you.
Sairam Suman, brother.
Sai Ram.
Thank you.
Sairam Sridhar, sir. Subbu, sir. Anand, brother. Amarnath, sir. And all others. Thank you, Sairam.
I love you, sir.
Yes, really thanks to Sridhar sir. Everybody. Amarnath sir.
Any more questions before closing?
I just have one small thing to add, one humorous thing.
Yeah.
See, Ravi was mentioning about this Click 3 camera. I don't know if many of you must be knowing that Ravi continues his habit of taking beautiful photographs at Sai Gitanjali for all the important occasions and share it to everybody. That's the Click 3 link. Thank you, Ravi. Thank you.
Thank you, Amarnath sir. Sir, one last and final addition to this. Actually, Suman had asked about my family, their interactions. I forgot one important thing. My parents, my Vijayawada convener, his daughter, they were obviously in those days the president was always interacting with Swami directly on various matters every Samiti. And his daughter and son, both of them were getting married, and Swami was performing their wedding at Brindavan. This was somewhere in, I think, 1976 or something, before our summer course. And my mother, who was also the secretary of Vijayawada Samiti, she told the president's wife, saying that whether you are going to invite me or not, I am going to join your entourage to attend the wedding. They had obviously not called so many people because of lack of space at Brindavan. So my mother and my sister also, my sister was just now reminding about that. So they both went along with that whole family in a bus. And it seems Swami was waiting at the gate when the bus came, and he told those people. Later on, I confirmed these things with the president's daughter recently, about a few months back, about the whole thing, because I never knew what happened there. He said, "I have been waiting for you. Hope you all had a good trip." And these people, Swami was such a host that not only he performed their wedding, for their accommodation also, he allowed everybody to stay in his own residence there. These people were so blessed and fortunate to sleep under the same floor where he was living. Swami was living on the first floor, and all these people were slept, it seems, in the ground floor. Such was the punya, I would say, of those people, and my mother and sister also, who were witness to that wedding of what Swami performed there. Sai Ram.
Thank you, sir. Any more questions before closing?
Thank you, Suman, very much for the opportunity. Really, you really made my day, I would say, introspecting and putting me back on rails I would say actually, thank you so much, Saira.
Thank you, sir. Even you reminded me of the Premalingam, which during my +2, our parents also did Abhishekam. That time, even I was amazed because they gave us it in hand. So it was weighing more than half a kilo. So I was amazed how Swami
Exactly.
used to create it from inside more than half a kilo, and even bigger lingams he created after that. So that always
Exactly.
amazed me.
Correct.
Yeah, the black color Premalingam it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Old shaped.
And one more important takeaways in your satsang I've seen is twice your little naughty cunningness actually took you to Swami rather than taking away from him. Because his names are there in Rudram. He's like a cheat also. Like sometimes that cheating is good. No, little that naughtiness is required. No, I think once you bunked that Shivaji Nagar, whatever that was there, and you
Yes.
got interaction with Swami. And second, the neem leaves thing. That all there also you were little cunning, but it
Yes.
again took you to Swami only. So I think those I have good takeaways. No, you can be
Yeah.
little sometimes be naughty and cunning.
Yes.
Ultimately
That's
for God.
yes. If it is ultimately for God, but at the
Yes,
same
yes.
time, by His grace, I was also observing discipline. When Swami was there. Like not for rushing and though there would be opportunities, I would always stand away, and somehow things were like that also were happening. So, but yeah, that was all his play only. I mean, otherwise, why should I bunk, and why should I get into that mantra, and why should Swami come out all of a
Yes, yes.
sudden? All
Exactly. All
this,
his will. All his will.
yes, Sai Ram.
Even you could ask only that question. After that, nothing. That's also
Yes,
it's his will is to the precise
exactly.
precision of it.
Yes, and I like the way you had put it. That remote controlled.
Autopilot. Yeah.
Autopilot, exactly. Even I had never realized that it was that mode earlier. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful evening. We'll close this session with Asatoma. Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Shanti Samastaloka Sukhino bhavantu samastalokaah sukhino bhavantu samastalokaah sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti. जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय. Thank you. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.